I said, Mike, that we are fighting today the battle that the Maccabees fought. They fought for the survival of the Jewish people and the Jewish faith against an enemy that wanted to extinguish us, wipe us out from the face of the earth. We were fighting our battle, but we were also fighting the battle of civilization, because our civilization is based on the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if the Maccabees had failed, there'd be no Judaism, there would be no Judeo-Christian civilization. There would be no Maccabees. There would be no United States, there wouldn't be the civilization of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values. All of that would not happen if it weren't for those 5 brave brothers. They actually made the whole difference. So that spirit animates these brave soldiers that are here today and their comrades who are fighting in Gaza or in Lebanon or in Iran, wherever is necessary to not only preserve the Jewish nation and the Jewish state, but preserve civilization against the barbarians. The barbarians are out there. They did a horrible thing to us on October 7th. They'll never do it again. But they're doing it against Jews in Sydney and Jews elsewhere in America and elsewhere. This is our common battle against the barbarians. We have won it here, we're winning it here, we'll win it everywhere. Chag Sameach, Chag Chanukah Sameach Likulchem. Toda rabba lachem. Toda rabba.
That power had him very, very prideful in his heart. You know what I'm saying? His heart was lifted up. It was lifted up with pride and arrogancy. Right? Read.
Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Right. So he gathered mighty strong hosts, mighty strong armies, and ruled over countries. The same way this devil doing today, man. The same way this devil go across the 4 corners of the earth, conquering kingdoms. He was doing it back then, he's doing it today. And we're going to connect the dots on how the ancient time and today, in modern days, is similar. It's the same. Right? And it says, who became tributaries unto him. Nations and kings who became tributaries unto him, they became servants to Esau. Right? Read.
Verse 5. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
Right? He was sick because he had diseases. From sleeping with the same sex, sleeping with minors, sleeping with little boys, getting all kind of STDs. So he knew that he was about to die. Read.
Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Right, so he called his fellow servants, his brethren, right? His kinsmen according to the flesh pertaining to Esau, right? And they was raised up with him, so they knew him. They knew how he was, and they was just as wicked as him, right? A birds of a feather flock together. They knew how this king was, right? Read.
Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Ancient Babylon, modern-day Iraq. The year is 323 BCE, and Alexander the Great is sick. Racked by pain and barely able to speak, he lingers for 2 weeks. As his generals wonder who will inherit his empire, he utters his final words: to the strongest. On June 11th, 323 BCE, Alexander takes his last breath. The greatest conqueror the world has ever known is gone.
And his servants bear rule, every one in his place.
So his servants stepped up after he died, right? And what happened after they stepped up when he died? Read.
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Right, so when Alexander the freak died, his servants multiplied evils upon the earth. They was more wicked than what he was. They increased in wickedness. Just like how the earth is given into the hand of the wicked today, the same thing happened back then. Right? Read.
Verse 10. And there came out of them, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname, I'm going to butcher it. Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 130th and 7th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right. So then came out a wicked root, Antiochus, right? The son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome. Right. So his father was a hostage. He was in prison in Rome. Right. It is say, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Antiochus Epiphanes occupies a significant place in both world history and the Bible, serving as a precursor to the anticipated arrival of a figure known as the Antichrist, emerging around 175 BC. Antiochus initially portrayed himself as a man of peace, captivating the public with his eloquence and flattery. His cunning approach led the people to accept him, not only as the rightful king of Syria, but also of Israel.
So this is a Greek ruler, right? An Edomite ruler. You know what I'm saying? That's very, very wicked, right? And he's the originator of the Hellenistic period for our people. He the one that influenced Greek culture and lawless culture on the children of Israel, right? Verse 11, read.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen, that they are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right, so and the same thing is going on with our people today. Right, in those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many. Right, the same way with like Officer Tatum, you know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Bowing down to these Jewish devils.
But I'm excited because I think it's a calling on all of us to stand up with the relationship that we have with the state of Israel and our Jewish brothers and sisters. I am the most excitable person when it comes to this topic. And I will stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters to the very end. And one of the reasons that I have this fervor and this excitement is because I actually read my Bible. I know what God has said. I know what the principles of God mean to people like me as a Christian. And we have to stand by those principles to the very end. And I'm going to say this, because I know a lot of you guys are here are bold and courageous, but this is the time to be more bold than ever before. Anti-Semitism in America is out of control. And it's no longer a time where you can sit back and watch others perform and watch others stand up for what's right. You have to get off of your butt, get online or wherever you need to get and stand up for what's real and what's true. And let me say this. I will never capitulate. I will never give credence to foolish people who are anti-Semitic, who are racist, people who hate America. I will never support them. I don't care how long you've been podcasting. I don't care how many followers you got. I don't care how much money you got. When you platform somebody, bring somebody on your show and let them just dog out Jewish people, let them just dog out and say they support Stalin, I will never support you.
And like I said before, I'm not with you guys 10%, 50%. I will always be the voice for the people in Israel. I will always stand behind the country of Israel, the one and only, Floyd Money Mayweather in Israel. I will always be here for you guys when you guys don't have a voice.
I feel really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability. I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have me take them to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself. So I wanted to come and take accountability. Sometimes people aren't that knowledgeable about the bipolar and the cause or what causes it and the way you act when you have this disease.
The same way they doing that today is the same way they was doing it back then. They was persuading our people to go follow the ways of the heathens, right? Just like who else? You had Kanye West going to meet up with these Jewish rabbis, saying sorry. Young Thug as well, man. The rapper Young Thug went to meet with these Jewish rabbis. To make a covenant with these devils. Why? It says, for since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So since Kanye West departed from the authority of the Jewish people, right, the Amalekites, he has had much sorrow. They took away his finances. They took his children away from him, right? They took his sneaker deal away from him. They took everything, froze his bank account. So now he going back to make a covenant with these heathens, man, because he's not living that lavish lifestyle like he used to, right? Verse 12, read.
So this device pleased them well.
So this device pleased them well. Device means mental perception. This mental perception pleased them well. Read.
Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Who gave them license to do what?
To do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right. So some people agreed, some of Israel agreed to go follow the customs of the heathens, right? Because these heathens gave them a license to sin. The Most High didn't give us a license to sin. But these heathens will give you a license to go transgress the laws of the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? Read.
Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Right, so they built the place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathens. And like we was talking about earlier, you know, that was all by design. You know what I'm saying? For them to build a place of exercise, a gymnasium, right, in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Because they built that gymnasium right next to our temple. And in and inside that gymnasium, they would work out and exercise butt naked.
Greek gymnasiums were an important part of Greek society. At gymnasiums, people would gather for communal events, exercise, and education. The word gymnasium comes from the Greek word gymnasian, which means to exercise naked. Ooh la la! This is because the Greeks used to exercise in the gymnasium entirely nude. Boxing, doing equestrian events such as chariot riding, doing pentathlon events such as discus throwing, tossing javelins, jumping, running, and wrestling, such as we see today in our modern version of the Olympics. The Greek philosopher Plutarch wrote about it in his book Plutarch's Morals, Ethical Essays. Exercise also ought not to be neglected, but we ought to send our boys to the master of the gymnasium. Not only were gymnasiums used for exercise as they are today, but They were also used for music, education, and military training. In the rooms to the sides of the courtyard, philosophers would gather and teach the young men of the society the philosophies of the great teachers as well as their own. Blah, 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 blah.
You know what I'm saying? That was their custom. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother mentioned, you know, they wanted to see who was circumcised and who was uncircumcised. And they wanted to dominate brothers and sisters and put fear in them and send them off. Right? So they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen, because it was by design, so they can get our people to go off. Or y'all worshiping the Most High in there? Or when you come out, you're going to see a bunch of naked women, a bunch of naked men, and it's going to throw you off. Right? Read.
Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Right, and made themselves uncircumcised. Now that's literal and that's spiritual, man. When you become uncircumcised, you could be circumcised in the physical and still become uncircumcised by forsaking the laws of the Most High. That's how you become uncircumcised. And forsook the holy covenant. That's how you become uncircumcised, when you begin to turn back to your lawlessness or your wickedness. And joined themselves to the heathen. You made a league with them, a covenant with them, and were sold to do mischief. Read.
Verse 16, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
Right, so this king was mighty, he was powerful, and he was greedy. Right? But there's a punishment for forsaking the holy covenant of the Most High. Hold that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Right? Let's get the classic, man. Let's get the classic. Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
Y'all got it? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right, so if we don't hearken to the commandments of the Most High, if we begin to forsake the holy covenant, he said he's going to bring evil upon us. A curse is an evil thing, right? He said he's going to bring evil upon us if we forsake his holy covenant. Go down to the verse 49, King.
Come. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swiftest the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right, so the Most High said, if you forsake my holy covenant, I'm going to bring a nation against you from afar. Right? And that nation is the nation of Edom. The Edomites, the so-called white man, the Greeks, the Romans, the Americans, right? The British, the Spaniards, the Germans, right? The Russians. He said he's going to bring a nation against thee from afar. So Satan didn't bring this nation against us. The Most High did. Because we forsook his holy covenant. It says, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Now, when you look at the back of a quarter, you're going to see an eagle on it. When you look at the money, you're going to see an eagle on it. When you go to the courthouse, you're going to see an eagle in the courthouse. The national bird for America is the bald eagle, man. I mean, that's a dead giveaway. That was the symbol for the Greeks, for the Romans. You know what I'm saying? It's still a relevant symbol to this day. He said he's going to bring these nations against us from afar, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We don't know court language, man. We go to court and be looking stupid in there. They be speaking that code. You don't know what they talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? God, a language that we don't understand, right? Verse 50.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Hey, a nation of fierce countenance, man. They got a demeanor about themselves, man. They look wicked. You could be conversating with the police, right? You know, potentially about to get locked up. They listening to you, but they looking like, nigga, I don't care what you say. I'm finna take your ass to jail. You going to jail. I don't care what you say. They got that look on their face. They be looking. A nation of fierce countenance, right? It say, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. I just recently seen a video. A lady, a Judite lady, was going through the airport with her baby. The baby had to be like 9 months, 10 months. They waving the baby down with the wand like the baby got a gun on him or something through the airport. Right? Never seen that before in my life. I've never seen a baby get frisked down at the airport.
Never.
A nation of fierce countenance that shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young, man. Verse 51, read.
Come. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, and until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
Right, meaning the Edomites or the so-called white man, they're not going to leave you nothing behind. They're going to take everything, slaughter all the animals, eat up your land, eat up your prosperity. You know what I'm saying? Do away with the milk and honey. You know what I'm saying? Just leave you for dead. Take everything you got. Destroy you as a people. Take your identity. Take your heritage. You know what I'm saying? Only oppress you forever and ever. That's their MO.
Repeated through all of our captivities.
All through all our captivities. That's their MO, man. And the Most High said that he would do this to us if we forsook his covenant, if we don't obey his commandments. Verse 52, read.
Verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee.
Right, and that's exactly what they did when Antiochus came into power, right? They tore down all our fence walls, all our high walls, man, right? They ramshacked our land, right? It's a term back home, we say we'll walk in your trap and take over your trap, meaning you'll impose on somebody else's place of business and take it over. That's what they did, man. Well, we doing our Father's business at, they came in and took over and influenced and encouraged our people to follow their ways and to follow their gods. But it was also prophesied that Israel would turn to other gods. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 16. It was prophesied. And the Most High's prophecies gonna always surely come to pass, man. Always.
Is it 31:16?
Come.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, and verse 16. And the Lord God said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, Salakia, whether they go to be among them and will forsake me, break my covenant which I have made with them.
Right, and that's in the time of the Maccabees when they forsook the Holy Covenant. Right? Moses is being told by the Heavenly Father that when he died and he's buried with his fathers, that these people gonna go a whoring after other gods, man. Right? The gods of the strangers of the lands. The Edomites are the strangers of the land. They went a whoring after those gods. Zeus, Hercules, right? Poseidon, Apollo, right? Mercury, you know, Jupiter. They went to worshiping and idolizing these gods. I think they even built a statue of Hercules right outside the temple, right outside our temple as well, with the place of exercise. You know what I'm saying? The gymnasium always had Hercules, you know, as the mascot, you know, and they worshiped him as a god, as a demigod, right? Verse 17.
Verse 17. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us? Because our God is not among us.
Right, and that's the reality that we must face by serving these strange gods, man. You smoke weed all day, hey, you worshiping Lord Shiva. So them calamities are gonna come upon you, man. Right? You celebrating Easter, you celebrating Christmas, hey, these calamities are gonna befall on you. Verse 18.
God. And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought, in that they are turned unto other gods.
The Most High said he gonna hide his face, right? Sin is what separates you from your power, you from your God. He said he gonna hide his face. So when you cry unto him, he not gonna listen. He gonna tell you to go cry to those other gods that you were serving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Read.
Verse 19. Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel.
Right, and our people are singing that song to this very day. You hear it in the music, man. Straight lawless music, idolatrous music, man. Women worship, whoredom in the music. They're not glorifying the Father in the mainstream music, that secular music, man. That song is being played to this very day. Verse 20.
Verse 20. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves, and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods, and serve them, and provoke me, and break my covenant.
Provoke the Most High and break his covenant. That's forsaking the covenant. He said, when you wax fat, when I set you in your own land and you wax fat, you're going to forget about me, man. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like somebody in today's time, you know, you glorify the Most High, you get good and full, you know, now you don't want to do nothing no more. Now you don't want to be obedient no more. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't want to keep the commandments no more. That's how our people are, man. Right? It said, for when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, then they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat. Meaning they full off of prosperity and blessings. Right? You're full off of prosperity and blessings. That's that milk and honey. Then they will turn unto other gods. Now you want to go see how to worship Lord Shiva. Right? You want to see how to go worship Buddha or Allah. Right? You want to go see what Islam is about. You know what I'm saying? And serve them and provoke me and break my covenant. But when you read the book of Joshua, the Most High warned us for serving these foreign nations, man.
Yeah.
He give us a warning. Go to Joshua chapter 23 and verse 12. Joshua 23 and verse 12. It's a warning for serving these other gods. It's a warning. Celebrating Christmas and these pagan practices, man. It's a warning. And the church ain't going to teach you this, man. Your Sunday church is not going to teach you the judgments of the Most High or the warnings that he give you for doing certain accounts, man. Bring that up.
It's the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 12.
23.
Yeah,
23, 12.
It says, else if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you.
Read.
Know for a certainty.
Know for a certainty. If you do this, know for a certainty. Read.
that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you.
Meaning you no longer have a hedge of protection, right? The Most High is going to hide his face from us as a nation. Read.
But they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from all this good land which the Lord your God hath given you.
They're going to be scourges in your sides, snares and traps. That's what these pagan holidays are, man. They snares and traps.
Yeah.
That's what all these restaurants that encourage you to eat abominable foods, those are snares and traps. You know what I'm saying? The music industry, the music videos, those are snares and traps. The record labels who is owned by the eagle, right? The Jewish man, the so-called white man, they got a record label to prison pipeline where these record labels own these prisons, man, these private prisons.
Dreads from Black Sheep sits down and he talks about how rap music is actually a pipeline for the prison system. Listen to him as he breaks it down. Check it out.
Hip hop is now, not even hip hop, rap music is now a pipeline to the federally funded privatized prisons that are on the stock market. So if you really take a step back and you look at this, once they started the syndication of radio, probably the same year that they started the privatized prisons, America has more private prisons than anywhere in the world combined.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These prisons are on the stock market.
Which means the prisons are a business.
Now, a federal funded prison gets money for being full. They get federal money for being full. That has nothing to do with crime, the crime rate, this and the other. So most are filling their prisons to get their quota, to get their money. Whose kids are they gonna put into these prisons?
Ours.
The children of slaves.
So the prisons that are on the stock market, they are in to make a profit. And how are they gonna get their employees? You guessed it. Let's get back into it.
It's a modern day plantation. How are we gonna get the children of slaves into these prisons? Well, let's take away anything that might sound like it's gonna talk them out of prison.
Consciously.
Let's make it so that everything that we push, if it's played here, it's played there, it's played there, that's the syndication. It's the same playlist all across the whole country. The same playlist.
And it's consistent.
It's like
what's
going on with the drill rap right now.
Yeah.
So like
really
never stop. Now,
right.
It's
really
drill.
Never stop. It's poisonous. We're gonna remove anything that talks, anything that balances it. Anything that balance, and that's where we won. We came up in a time of balance. Yeah, NWA existed, but they was right behind PE, which was right behind, you know what I'm saying, EPMD, yeah, they might be, you know what I'm saying, they gonna go get some money, but that's right behind Rakim. You know, like we had
with Big Daddy
truth
Kane.
talkers, right. We had real motherfuckers that was saying real things that were gonna give us some understanding of, yeah, the block exists, but the block's not the only thing that exists.
Right.
As opposed to today, where that's all you get. That's all you get. And now it's all young kids that are literally being funneled. Look at the times we living in. Look at what these kids do. They can't even have a disagreement without a pistol coming out. So we're in a place now where we was already there where they wanted us to have a felony by 16. But now these niggas is bidding by 16. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing of value in rap music right now.
Value is not being pushed on a major level because it's not profitable. You have to look for it through the independent route.
Not even the money is a value. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing motherfuckers are standing on that's honorable. Nothing.
And being honorable is not profitable as well, because if everyone was honorable, that would mean there would be a lot of empty cells. And that is something that they do not want. Neither does their stockholders. The main purpose of being in business is to make a profit. Remember that. Like, share, subscribe. We out.
And they encourage the artists to rap about death, drugs, violence, destructions, whoredoms, to get your children to do it, to get you to do it, so you can wind up in prison. So they're getting paid off of these artists, making millions off of these artists, because these artists are getting these companies paid and the artists ain't getting nothing. And then they also being a snare and trap unto you, the listener, the consumer, because you listen to it, get hypnotized, mesmerized. Now you're trying to mimic what you're listening to, and now you wind up in prison. Right? Because boss man D-Lo say trap and sell dope, and now you trying to do what he doing, and now you in jail. Or now you shot up, now you dead. Right? He said they're going to be a snare and trap unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off this good land which the Lord thy God hath given you, man. That's a warning against idolatry and serving strange gods. Go to 1 Kings chapter 14 and verse 22. All right? We got to be mindful, man. We got to be circumspect. We got to understand how the Most High operate first and foremost, so we don't keep falling into these same mistakes over and over again, like in the book of Judges, man. Same cycle over and over. We got to come out that cycle, man. Break these curses. 1 Kings 14 and 22.
Gone. It says, and Judah did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins which they had committed above all that their fathers had done.
And Judah did evil in the sight of the Most High, man. The Most High is a jealous power. And that's what we got to understand, man. A jealous person will kill you, man. Now, it ain't jealous like a wicked jealousy. It's a righteous jealousy that he got. How dare you? I created you. I chose you out of all people. And here you go serving a people that's not even considered something. They heathens. They have ever been reputed as nothing. And you holy above all nations, and here you go serving nothing. The gods of the nations are idols. They don't exist, man. You serving imaginary gods. They not real. That's like when you sitting, when you're young, you sitting and you have your little imaginary friends. They not real. You pretending. These gods is not real. They can't save you when you're going through tribulations, man. You can't pray to them and they hear you. They don't speak. They don't hear. They can't deliver you out of the hands of your enemies, man. Right? The Most High is a jealous power. And we got to understand that. It's a recompense for making the Most High jealous, man. Read verse 23.
For they also built them high places and images and groves on every high hill and under every green tree.
Right. They also built them high places like a gymnasium. Right. Verse 24. Read.
And there were also sodomites in the land, and they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord cast out before the children of Israel.
And there was also sodomites in the land. And sodomites isn't just homosexuals, man. Sodomites are fornicators, idolaters, man. Right? Men that lay with beasts. Right? That's fornication as well. Homosexuality, sleeping with animals, that's all fornication. And that's what these heathens be on, man. Even when you study the ancient Romans and the ancient Greeks, Lupercalia, like Valentine's Day, that was that had to do with bestiality. You know what I'm saying? They were sleeping with animals. They even have Lupercalia having sex with a goat. You know what I'm saying? There was sodomites in the land. And they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. Right? Let's go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse, I want to say 13, 12 and 13. Verse 13, Con. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 13.
Con. Verse 13. Then certain of the people...
So like in verse, verse 15. We could read verse 15 again and go down. Matter of fact, Salakia, verse 16 and go down. Yeah, we read all that.
Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have dominion over 2 realms. Verse 17, wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots, elephants, horsemen, and a great navy.
And a great navy. So they had a navy even back then, man. Esau had that navy.
We do, though, have to transition now to some breaking news that's just now coming into our newsroom. I'm going to put up this tweet we have from the Associated Press. They just put out this report a few moments ago saying breaking, U.S. forces stop a second sanctioned merchant vessel off the coast of Venezuela in international waters, according to U.S. officials. And so we're learning a bit more now, but we do know that U.S. forces today stopped a vessel off the coast of Venezuela for the second time in less than 2 weeks. This as President Trump continues to ramp up pressure on the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The move, which was confirmed by 2 U.S. officials who were familiar with the matter, comes just days after President Trump announced a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers coming in and out of the South American country following the December 10th seizure by American forces of an oil tanker off of the Venezuelan coast. I also want to put up this live vantage point that we have of the White House as we're still continuing to learn a bit more information. We do know that the officials, though, were not authorized to discuss publicly the ongoing operation militarily and spoke underneath the condition of anonymity with the Associated Press. The action, though, was described as, quote, consented boarding, with the tanker stopping voluntarily and allowing U.S. forces to board it, one official said. The Pentagon and the White House have not immediately responded to any requests for comment from the Associated Press, but we do know that President Trump said earlier this month that he announced that the Coast Guard had seized an oil tanker in the Caribbean Sea and vowed that the U.S. would carry out a blockade of Venezuela. This all comes as President Trump again has now ratcheted up his rhetoric towards Maduro and warned that the longtime Venezuelan leader's days in power are numbered. So we'll continue to keep you updated with the very latest, but this coming out from the Associated Press, that the U.S. has now stopped a second sanctioned merchant vessel off the coast of Venezuela in international waters. If any other updates or comments come from the White House or the Pentagon, we'll make sure to bring you those updates here on Live Now from Fox.
Right? You still got a Navy today. And that's why a lot of our people get discouraged, because you look at us as a people, we don't have military might. We don't have tanks. We don't have drones with guns on them and stuff, man. We don't have battleships. We don't have airplanes, fighter jets. We don't have none of that. So that is going to be kind of intimidating to certain people. But we don't need none of that because we got the might of the Lord on our side. You know what I'm saying? Read.
Verse 18, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled. Many were wounded to death.
Right, read.
Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof.
Right, so Antiochus, he went to conquering all the region. That's when he went over to Egypt. That's why you see in Egypt today, they got the noses on the statues knocked off, because Antiochus went over there and conquered Egypt and whitewashed Egypt. You know what I'm saying? That's when they start having Edomite pharaohs in Egypt. When you look into the history, right? Read.
And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof.
So he went proudly into our sanctuary, our temple, our place of worship, and he took everything, man. Right? All the holy furniture, all the holy vessels that we possess, he treated them as they was nothing. Read.
Verse 22. And the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vitals, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off.
Read.
He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels also he took, the hidden treasures which he found.
Read.
Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly.
Right, so this devil, he ramshacked the temple, man. He took all our holy things, everything that was consecrated, everything that was sanctified, everything that meant something to us, serving the Most High. He went in there and took everything, right? He didn't leave nothing behind. That's his MO. Anywhere he go, anybody he deal with, anybody who he conquer, he take everything. And then he rape, rob, and murder. And take our holy possessions for himself. But it was prophesied in the book of Daniel that this would happen, right? That's why you got to deal with prophecy in the scriptures. You got to deal with the testimony as well as the law to gain the proper understanding. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 9. These people are nothing nice, man. They can smile in your face. They can act like they're your friend, but really they're your oppressor, man. These people are really your oppressor, even to this very day. That's what they did to America when they conquered this land from the natives, from Israel. They conquered this land from Israel. The same thing. There's no new thing under the sun, man. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 9. When everybody got it, say Khan. We could start at verse 3.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 3. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns.
That ram that have 2 horns is the Media and Persian Empire. Right? That ram is the Media and Persian Empire. The 2 horns represents Media and Persia. Read.
And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Verse 4, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and he became great.
Right, so the Media and Persia Empire became great. Read.
And as I was considering, behold, and he-goat came from the west.
That he-goat represents the Greek Empire. Right? So you got the Media and Persia Empire for the ram, and then for the he-goat is the Greek Empire. Read.
Yeah, and the he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
Read.
Verse 6, and he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power.
Right, so this is the vision that Daniel saw, right? And it's all symbolic. Read.
Verse 7, I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns.
Right, so the Greek Empire smoked the Media and Persia Empire and broke the 2 horns. Read.
And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stampede upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
Read.
Therefore, verse 8, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
That great horn that was broken was Alexander, right? We just read that Alexander died and parted his kingdom to his servants, right? Read.
And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
The 4 notable ones are the 4 Greek successors, the servants after Alexander the Greek, Alexander the Free, Alexander the inventor of the freak-offs, right? Read.
Verse 9. And out of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great, toward the south, toward the east, toward the pleasant land.
That little horn is Antiochus Epiphanes, who we're reading about in Maccabees, right? So Daniel, he saw a vision in the 8th chapter of what was going to happen during the time of the Maccabees, right? During the time when King Antiochus was in power. And this is, hundreds of years before this even happened, right? Read.
Verse 10. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stampede upon them.
Right, so the host of the stars are the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? It's the children of Israel. Right? What verse was that?
Verse 10.
Verse 10. And waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts, some of the armies, and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Right? Read.
Verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away.
Our daily sacrifices was taken away. And this is speaking directly to the time of the Maccabees, what we're reading about in 1 Maccabees, when he defiled our temple, he defiled our sanctuary. Daniel is literally prophesying what was going to happen, and it actually happened. Read.
And the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Verse 12. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground. And it practiced and prospered.
Right, so an army was given him, a host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. Right? So while we in there serving our power, following the law, statutes, and commandments, this devil come through, ramshack our temple. First, he manipulate wicked Israelites to convince other Israelites to follow him, right? To join hand in hand with the wicked. Then he come and ramshack the temple, take our holy vessels, profane our altars, sacrifice swine's flesh on our altars, right? And cast the truth to the ground. The truth was literally cast to the ground. It says, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Meaning wickedness rose again in the earth. Right? Meaning, just like in today's time, lies prosper in Babylon. You got to live a lie. These rappers, they live lies. People on the day-to-day, they live a lie. They're not living in truth. You know what I'm saying? It's a facade. It's fantasy. Ain't nobody keeping it real according to the law, statutes, and commandments no more. Only a remnant of people is. Everything else is all fake. Everything. People really believe the movies they be watching. They pray over those movies to hypnotize your mind to think that what they doing is real. It's not real. They're on a movie set. They acting. They hypocrites. That's what an actor is, a hypocrite. Right? Read.
Verse 13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot?
And that's what happened. The host, the army, and the sanctuary was trodden underfoot. Right? Verse 14.
Come. And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
How many days?
2,300 days.
2,300 days. I want to say that's like, you probably have to do the math. Divide that by 365. I think that's about 6 years. I think that's about 6.5 years, maybe.
6.3.
Yeah, 6.3 years. That's how long it was going to be trodden underfoot, cast down. But Daniel was clearly prophesying about what we're reading about in First Maccabees. Let's go back to First Maccabees. And we was on verse number...
You ended on 24.
24? Spoken very quiet. So we're on 25. The water says.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 25. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were.
Right. So those that was studying the law and the prophets, they understood what Daniel was talking about. It came to pass. They're like, oh, this talking about what the vision Daniel saw is actually happening unto us. Read.
Verse 26. So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed.
Right. So they terrorized our people, man. Right. The men were made feeble, meaning weak, just like they are today. They emasculated the men, made them effeminate, right? And the beauty of women was changed. So instead of the standard beauty of Israel, you got the westernized standard of beauty now today. The beauty of our women was changed. Read.
Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness.
Read.
28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
Read.
29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Right. That's how the serpent come in. He speak peace, but war is in his heart, man. His words are smoother than oil, but war is in his heart. Read.
For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel.
Like he do with all his peace treaties. Right? He break every last one of them. Every last peace treaty he ever made, he done broke them. Right? And he used that, his acting skills, his hypocrisy to slaughter people, to conquer nations. He used his hypocrisy to conquer the Native American Indians. He used his hypocrisy, his acting skills, to start a war over there in Afghanistan. Right? He using hypocrisy right now to go rob Venezuelan warships to use his warships to go over there to Venezuela to rob them for their oil, man. For their oil rigs. Right? He making it look like they pushing dope over here, so he got to blow up their little ships. But he really over there trying to steal their oil. Trying to start a war. But what he going to put on the media is that, yeah, they doing what's right. We got to, what they say, we got to, not de-escalate. We got to neutralize the attack. You know what I'm saying? We got to neutralize the subject. However they say in the little term they be saying it. But that's what they be on, hypocrisy. Showing you one thing over here, but really behind the scenes they doing a whole nother sinister plot. Read.
Verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
Read.
But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle.
Right, so they kill off the men in war. They kill off the men and take the women and children. Right? That's the spoils of war. The women and children are the spoils of war. Because a man gonna continue to fight for his family. A man gonna continue to fight for the laws of the Most High. He gonna continue to fight. That's just in the Israelite man. You gonna fight for what's yours. You know what I'm saying? But they kill off the men and they take the women and the children because they more easy to bring into subjection. Right? Read.
33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
Read.
And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals,
meaning food, armor and food.
And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare.
Right, so they took over our city, right? They besieged our city, slaughtered the men, took the women and children captives, and they became a very sore snare. Like the Most High said, they're going to be for a snare and a trap unto you. Right? You're trapped. You can't get out. You forsook the holy covenant. You start following the ways of the heathens. Now I got to punish you. Because it was a test. It was all a test. Satan can tempt you, but he can't make you do the sin. Satan could tempt you. He could present the temptation, but he cannot force you to bite into it, to feed into that temptation. It's your choice to feed into that temptation. And when we failed the test, the Most High made him a sore snare unto us, a thorn in our side. Right? Read.
Verse 36. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel.
An evil adversary unto Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native, and Seminole Indians. You have that same evil adversary to this very day. The Greeks are the Americans. That is, ain't no way around it. The eagle. Remember the eagle. The eagle. Right? Read.
Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it.
And the Most High hate the hands that shed innocent blood. He hate these people. Read.
Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them. Whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her.
Right, because Jerusalem is the mother of us all. That's our mother, right? The city was made a habitation of strangers, just like how Israel was inhabited America before Esau came and conquered it. It became a land of strangers. Right? It was once a land of peace, milk and honey over here. They said once upon a time in America, it was so many trees here that a squirrel can climb up a tree on the East Coast and never touch the ground until it got all the way to the West Coast, because it was full of trees. And now it ain't, it's basically desolate now. Right? It says, and became strangers to those that were born in her, meaning we didn't know Jerusalem no more. We didn't know our homeland no more. And her children left her, meaning some of us fled. Some Israelites fled because of all the attacks, man. It got heavy. The same way some of Israel trying to leave now, man. They're trying to physically leave America. When they say flee Babylon, they really packing up and moving their family overseas because they know it's finna get bad. Right? Verse 39.
Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt.
Right, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning. Right? Because people scared to keep the feast days. Right? The Antiochus got his hosts and they ramshacking anything that's keeping the commandments. Right? It says her Sabbaths into reproach. They shunning you for keeping the Sabbath day, for not working. You need to work on the Sabbath. You can work on the Sabbath. It's just another day. You need to provide for your family on, cause you not spending money, crashing the economy. So the Sabbath become a reproach. You can't do nothing, man. You can't hang out on the Sabbath. You can't do nothing on the Sabbath. It becomes a reproach. Her honor into contempt. Verse 40, read.
As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning.
Right, that's the beauty of our women changing. Read.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So King Antiochus is following the Hamitic nations playbook during the Tower of Babel when the Hamites wanted everybody to be one people. One world, one government, one system, one religion. He wanted everybody to be one people under his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Read.
And every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Right, so he wanted Israelites to leave the laws of God and follow his system. And all the heathens, they agreed to it. Yeah, that sounds good. Right, read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
And that's still happening to this very day. Many also of the Israelites agreed or consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath day. They forsook the holy covenant. They're like, you know what? It's either get down or lay down. I'm just going ahead and get down with the beast system. Why not? Read.
44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should follow the strange laws of the land. What's a strange law? Two niggas can get married. 2 women can get married. That's a strange law. Because it goes against the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? What's another strange law?
Child marriage.
Child marriage. Like in Islam, a grown man, 30, 40 years old, can marry a 9-year-old. They just changed it legally from 18 to 9. That's a strange law, man. Strange laws of the land. And that was going on even back then. Verse 45.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
Right, so they forbid burnt offerings, sacrifices, and drink offerings in the temple. When we want to atone for our sins, the way to atone for our sins was a burnt offering, sacrifice, or drink offering. That's how we reconcile back with the Most High. So they completely disconnected us from reconciling and making amends with the Most High when we went off. When you sinned, there was no repentance. That's what they did. That's how they do today, man, in them churches. And that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, meaning don't keep the high holy days of the Most High. Keep our pagan traditions, our pagan ceremonies. Do that. The hell with the high holy days of the Most High. Profane that. Verse 46.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Read.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
Yeah, go eat your shrimp, crab, and lobsters. Go eat your red lobsters, your sea low country bulls, your fish fries, catfish, and all that. Go to the whorehouses. Go to the hustler strip club. Those that's the Salakia. That's the groves, the altars and groves. The groves are the whorehouses, the strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? It says in the chapels of idols, that's your Sunday churches. Your chapels of idols. You go in there, you see white Jesus. Now that's the real catfish. Christ is the real catfish. Y'all ever watch that show Catfish? I like watching Catfish. That show funny. But the greatest catfish of all time is white Jesus, man. That catfished a lot of people, man. A lot of niggas, it catfished us, man. Read.
Verse 48. They that should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profane.
Read.
Verse 49. To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
And that's what they ultimately want you to do. Forget the laws of God and change his ordinances. That's what they want you to do within your household. That's what they want you to do within your nation. Read.
50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Read.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
Read.
Then many of the people were gathered unto them to whip every one that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land.
Read.
53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for secure. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side.
Right. So on the 15th day of the month of Caslu, right, they set up an abomination of desolation upon the altars and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. So we was completely Hellenized. Hellenized meaning we was Israelites, but we conformed to the ways of the Greeks. This started the Hellenization period for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's basically like being westernized today. Hellenized and westernized is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We are completely conformed to their program. You know what I'm saying? It happened back then, and it's happening in this day and time right now. Why people are being programmed. You know what I'm saying? But that's just, we know we're gonna end it with that, but we'll continue throughout the week for Hanukkah, going through the book of Maccabees and getting the whole conclusion of the matter. You know, how our temple was desecrated, desolated, and how our brethren, the Maccabees brothers, Judas Maccabees and his brothers, stood up to fight for the laws of God. And we took back over our temple and rededicated it back to the Most High after we killed our adversaries. Right? So that'll conclude this lesson. I guess we can feast and be merry now, because I'm ready to sip a little something, you know. Ready to eat a little something, you know. All praises to the Most High. If you learned something, we did our job up here tonight.
You showed up.
All praises.
If I may, too, one thing that we have to understand about all of our feast days and our holy days, there's a vibe and spirit behind it.
Mm-hmm.
They rededicated the temple, so what should we be doing in this time? Rededicating our temples, ourselves, our minds, our bodies, our spirits to the Most High with the same passion and the same conviction that we're going to read about, you know, like Mattathias and the you know, their brothers. They fought hard for this truth. They fought hard for our people and rededicating that temple to the Most High. So we're supposed to be in that same spirit in this time. Really all day, every day, really, but especially in this time.
Right.
So let's, you know, keep that in mind. And like the brother said, you know, let's drink and be merry.
By Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Kum Yasharala.